The Twilight Zone accident. This week, John Landis became the first Hollywood director to go on trial on charges of making the thrills so real that 3 actors died. The effect on Hollywood?
They find them guilty. That'll make you stop and think twice. I mean, we won't do anything but musicals after that.
Good evening. I'm Ted Koppel, and this is Nightline. The daredevil acts of the Hollywood movies have always involved danger for the stuntmen. But is the situation now so out of hand that even the actors are at risk? Our guests, actor Charlton Heston, film critic Gene Siskel, and director and former stuntman Hal Needham.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
I remember, as I'm sure many of my colleagues who served with me in Vietnam remember, getting 2 kinds of cables from our head offices in New York. One kind, known in our trade as a rocket, would wonder in sometimes harsh terms where we had been when one of our competitors shot a particularly good piece of combat footage. The second kind, known as CYA cables, C standing for cover and Y standing for your, re-emphasized every few months that no story was worth getting killed for. You will hear echoes of both cables tonight. Although the focus of our attention is not Vietnam, but a Hollywood version of a scene in Vietnam. A scene in which a helicopter was supposed to crash. It did. But whereas in reality no one was meant to be hurt, 3 people actually died. The actor Vic Morrow and 2 child actors, 7 and 6 years old. 5 people, including John Landis, the director of the movie, are on trial, charged with involuntary manslaughter. As Ken Kashiwahara reports, this precedent-setting trial has the full attention of the movie industry.
It is an industry where success often depends on the illusion of danger. Spectacular scenes help ensure a greater take at the box office or higher television ratings in homes. It is an industry that regularly pushes its people to the edge to supply what the audience demands. But the illusions inside these theaters and on television screens are created out of a grim reality. The danger is real and sometimes fatal. Twilight Zone was the most publicized example. Special effects explosives hitting a helicopter, the rotor blade striking actor Vic Morrow and 2 children, killing all 3. But there have been others. This stuntman died while jumping from a 30-story building. The movie Comes a Horseman claimed the life of another stuntman when he was dragged by a horse and his quick release didn't work. And just last year, during filming of the TV series Airwolf, a helicopter crashed. The pilot was killed.
If audiences have difficulty understanding the differences sometimes between make-believe and reality, filmmakers sometimes have a difficulty understanding the difference between reality and make-believe.
Actress, model, and stuntwoman Heidi Von Belt is a quadriplegic because of injuries she suffered while filming the movie Cannonball Run. She sued the director, Hal Needham. The jury awarded her $4.5 million, believed to be the first time a director has been held responsible for an accident. This is the way the scene was supposed to look. James Bond's Aston Martin weaving in and out of oncoming cars. But this is what happened with Von Belt riding in the passenger seat without seatbelts, a stuntman driving.
Stay out of there!
Von Belt says Needham insisted the car be driven fast.
We'd started at 25 with that's a radical side-to-side action, weaving in and out of cars. And he changed it to 55, 60 miles an hour with more smoke.
For his part, Needham says stunt people are responsible for what is safe, not the director.
I am not in the car. I did not have my foot on the accelerator. I didn't tell him how fast to go. And the truth of the matter is the man made the wrong turn.
Danger has always been a part of movie making. In a 1920 D.W. Griffith movie, actress Lillian Gish was on an actual ice floe floating down the Connecticut River. She almost went over the falls. In this early Western, a horse tripped and fell. Actor Fred Thompson fell too. The stagecoach ran over both his legs. And in 1928, in one of the worst movie accidents ever, 4 stuntmen died when they were washed overboard by a raging river. Only 2 bodies were recovered. This is what set the trend for modern-day stunts, the car chase scene from the 1968 movie Bullet, starring Steve McQueen. This scene prompted filmmakers to attempt outdoing each other, trying to create a stunt more spectacular than the previous one. Movie stunts have long been controversial. They have even been the subject of movies. Does the director demand too much?
I want it, Max. It's right, and I want it. It's a stunt that's never been done. I don't care. I want it. It's the ending I want. It's a statement I want to make. Cut something else if you have to. I want that stunt.
Are dangerous stunts worth people's lives?
My life's worth more than a piece of film. I'll tell you exactly what your life is worth. Your life is worth $50,000. That's the price you put on it when you got behind this wheel.
Sonny, Ski, if you do not try to make this jump, you'll never work in this town again.
We're going, huh? We're going, yeah, we're going.
This film about movie stunts was also directed by Hal Needham, who is a former stuntman himself, who says the film is fantasy, says it's up to stunt people to decide what they will and will not do.
I've done a lot of things that were hazardous. I broke 52 bones. I broke my back twice. I spent a lot of time in the hospital. But that was my choice.
But in movie productions, time is money, and there are times when the pressure to complete a scene can override the concern for safety. Performers say that's when they must take charge.
There comes the time for the individual that if it's gone beyond reasonable measures, that person must stand up and say, no, wait, stop.
I've been asked to do some stunts that I deemed were unsafe, and I refused.
But some stunt people say refusing a dangerous stunt could mean not working again. Stuntwoman Desiree Kearns was badly burned while diving through an explosion on the TV series Airwolf. At a legislative hearing last year, Kearns called for stricter regulations of stunts.
I want to speak out for those who cannot because their future employment could be jeopardized. And in our business, it's who you know.
Filmmakers disagree over whether movie stunts are as safe as they can be. Privately, some say they are not. Still, government statistics show the accident rate in the movie industry is about half the average of all industries in California. And stuntmen say studios are more safety conscious now than they used to be.
And it is certainly safer now than it was 5 years ago. 5 years from now, it'll be safer yet because we continually learn.
With audiences demanding more realism on the screen, stunts have become more realistic on the set, and no one believes movie accidents can be eliminated altogether. But the Twilight Zone accident and trial have raised far-reaching concerns, with the film's director and crew members facing possible conviction for involuntary manslaughter.
If they find them guilty, that'll make you stop and think twice. I mean, we won't do anything but musicals after that.
Some action film directors say they'll be afraid to call.
Action! Go! Go! Go!
Ken Kashiwahara for Nightline in Hollywood.